Ezra Klein, who's one of the gods on the left, he's got a podcast that the lefties listen to. He's with the New York Times. He went on with Bill Maher this past Friday night, and they were on the subject of the deportations that we're doing of these Venezuelan gang members, and it led to a weird place in which Ezra Klein said the following. Watch this.
But here, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who doesn't follow politics that closely. And they're the Venezuelan gang members. Why are we even arguing about this? They shouldn't be in this country. This guy's finally doing something about it. He's kicking them out. And one judge told him to stop. Well, what law is this? Why is it that one judge anywhere can say, oh, a president can't do this? I mean, that's something that's a little abstruse to a lot of people.
Look, I think you can make the argument. The question is, can you get to where people are listening to the argument? The thing about the election, the thing about politics right now, is Donald Trump wins people who don't like to think about politics, right? That's very, very clear in all the polling. If you follow the news, you voted for the Democrats, by and large. If you don't follow the news, you voted for him.
If you don't follow the news, you voted for Trump. If you follow the news, you voted for Democrats. This is so deeply offensive on so many levels, as if Republicans aren't consuming news. Can I just give you the stats? Because, I mean, obviously, my audience is well aware that Republicans follow news. But I just pulled it up just for kicks. Morning Consult poll from September of 2024, this past September. Nearly 3 in 5 Democrats and nearly 3 in 5 Republicans say they still watch broadcast news. Partisan outlets have wide gaps in viewership. Democrats, 23 percentage points more likely to watch CNN. Republicans, 23 points more likely to watch Fox News. The most frequent news consumption happens on social media. Half of Democrats, 51%, and half of Republicans, 52%, say they turn to social media for news at least once a day, more frequently than any other news source. And yet, he wants you to believe that only the Democrats consume news, and that's what caused them to vote for Kamala Harris. And just the dumb Neanderthal, uninformed people who didn't consume any news, you see, were wowed by Donald Trump's personality and charisma and went into the polling booth not understanding, Stephen A., what they were voting for.
To encapsulate what he said, y'all are a bunch of deplorables. That's basically what he said. That's basically what he said, which is what got them in trouble in 2016. See, this is the nonsense that I'm talking about. So, again, I'm a centrist that leans left on social issues, leans right on fiscal issues. Megyn Kelly, I watch your show as often as I possibly can. I'm a fan. I don't always agree with you. What's wrong with having a conversation? Why do I have to insult you because I disagree with you? You know, I watched your interview with Bill Maher when you showed up on Real Time. I think you showed up a few weeks before I showed up on there. And you went back and forth with him, You know what I did? I watched both arguments being made, and I said, okay, who has the facts? Let me look at this. Okay, she makes a good point there. He made a good point there, but she made a good point here, and there. I'm looking at stuff like that, and I'm like, that's how it's supposed to be. But what the left has gotten accustomed to doing is vilifying you and denigrating you if you don't agree with them. That's why the young voters turned against them. You're a parent, I'm a parent. This is very, very simple. Talk to a kid, talk to a youngster, and even in the throes of trying to teach them or discipline them, call them an idiot and then ask yourself, how often are they going to listen to you? How often are they going to even come in front of you to hear what you have to say? Yet somehow, some way, folks on the left don't get this. I've said to them on many occasions, I said, listen, over the last few months, I said, I'm not saying you sit idly by and be mute, but in the same breath, the man won the election. Okay, see what he's going to do. Speak against what you want to speak against in an effort to try to win the midterms, okay? Outside of that, that's your only recourse. Anything else you do, especially anything that remotely resembles the rhetoric that you were spewing on the campaign, you're dead in the water. You don't have a chance because people are going to say, that's the kind of nonsense we don't want to deal with. We ain't trying to go back to that. And as I said on Real Time with Bill Maher, as crazy as Trump can come across as being sometimes, particularly with his rhetoric and his stances when he's going up against them and what have you, the reality is no matter all the things that he's been through, he was considered closer to normal than the Democratic Party to the American people. That is a fact. If you know that, you would think you go back, you lick your wounds, and you say, we got to re-strategize and we got to get our act together. They didn't. They still haven't. And that's why if they continue on this path, the Republicans are going to win the midterms. They're going to get even more seats. And oh, by the way, they're going to win the presidency. Now, I'm not down. I don't want to hear anything from Steve Bannon about a third term. The 22nd Amendment particularly explicitly stipulates it's 2 terms, Steve Bannon.
We are
not
hearing
a third
little.
term.
We're hearing rumblings.
That's right. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. J.D. Vance is the vice president. Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State. Those are 2 candidates off the bat disqualified to run for the presidency of the United States of America. I want to hear that, okay? But if you're the left, you got to stop being so emotional, and you got to stop disrespecting the competition. If the right's the competition, that's so be it. Deal with them respectfully. Respect the competition and come up with a game plan that's different from the nonsense we're hearing.
Tariff wars, stubborn inflation. No wonder gold has been routinely hitting all-time highs. In volatile markets like the one we have now, don't sit on the sidelines with your head in the sand. You can take control and safeguard your savings. This is why so many Americans today are turning to Birch Gold Group. They have helped tens of thousands convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. Is it time for you to hedge against economic instability with gold? To learn how to own physical gold in a tax-sheltered account, just text MK to 989898. Birch Gold will send you a free, no-obligation info kit. Again, text MK to the number 989898. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews, Birch Gold has helped many protect their savings with gold. It took us decades to get into the tangled mess they're trying to unpack now in D.C. How long is it going to take to get out of it? And at what cost? Text MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.